I think I was. Are you there? All right, chapter 2. Chapter 2, verse 7. Let me read. He says, "And the Lord God formed man out of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. It says, and man became a living soul. It says, and the Lord planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put man whom he had formed." It says, and there he put man whom he had formed. See, the word planted there means to fix, to establish. So it means something that has been prepared. Listen carefully. I'll just give you the introduction. Something that has been prepared. So you see, God created the whole earth, no doubt. Right? There's trees here, there's there. Of course, he was putting things in perspective. But he says when it came to the garden, it was special. He gave it attention. A classic illustration would be like having a house and having a special room in the house. The whole house was built, but I realized that particular room is giving detail. You make time to, probably based on what you want to do in that room, you make time to put the required things that will give you the satisfaction of what you want in that room. So if it's a cinema you want in that room, maybe you put the best screen, the best sound quality, the best couch. You get me? Maybe some one freezer there just for drinks. You have a popcorn machine there. Oh yeah, you want every luxury that comes with enjoying, like you've gone out for. You get me? A room. A cinema. I'm not talking about your hall. Then you have your 24-inch screen and you say, I'm watching a movie. No, I'm talking about a cinema room. Well, you can even decorate. You can make them construct it in a way like a cinema. Again, the descending chairs. It's a cinema with your huge screen. You can even get 3D glasses. I'm talking about a cinema, right? Good. So you put everything there that gives it the atmosphere of a cinema. Not you trying to impose a cinema in your hall. No. You enter, you can tell this is a cinema. Again, so that's what God did. He established a place. And he says it was eastward. He says he planted. God planted. God himself planted. Because he had a particular intention for that circumference. So he says God planted a garden. So this was not just a vegetation, it's a garden. There is a big difference. Do you know why you can recognize a garden from a bush? Because somebody worked on the bush to make it a garden. You don't need anything to get a bush. But if it's a garden, it meant that somebody has intentionally done something to that place. See, gardens are not automatic. Bushes are. Good. So he said, and the Lord God formed So it meant that you see the world, you go, you see forest, some places you see bushes, because God was not planting a garden. He was just replenishing the earth. So he just made things come up. But when he came to the garden, he had to plant it himself. That's why he had fruit trees, things that had got to do with pleasure. You can go through a forest, walk a long distance and not find something edible to eat. Do you know why? Because it's not a garden. It's not a garden. You might even eat something and it's poisonous. But the garden, God himself chose the kind of fruit trees he should plant there, because his intention was for it to give pleasure to man. It was supposed to give him delight. It was supposed to give him pleasure. It was supposed to give him relaxation. God's intention was that man will be shaded, he will relax there, he would enjoy breeze, and in his enjoyment, enjoying the breeze, there are fruits he can pluck, he can eat. An atmosphere of pleasure, delight. That was the intention. That's why luxury is always intended. That's one thing I've come to realize about luxury. There is no place that is already in the state of luxury. It has to be put in the state of luxury. I said luxury is always intended. We wanted this room to look a particular way. So we had to keep working on it till it gives us the particular results we want to see. That's luxury. That's why not all cars are the same. We have luxury cars. If all cars were luxury, it means no matter how they are produced, they should give luxury. But we have cars for luxury. Intention goes into it. And then when it comes out, you can tell that you sit inside and you can tell that these guys have achieved their aim. I have paid and it's worth it. So God's intention was for luxury. For luxury. So luxury is not any originate from a man. It's not, don't feel bad when you like luxury. Luxury originated from God. When he gave Adam a place to stay, it was a luxurious place. So your house should be luxurious. Yeah. Where you will stay should be luxurious. It should be. That's God's first intention for man. When he created man, his intention for where man will spend his time. And the home is where we spend time. Wherever you go, you come home. His intention for where man will spend his time was supposed to be what? Luxurious. There was supposed to be plenty. It was supposed to be restful. I said there was supposed to be plenty. Anytime you go anywhere and it's luxurious, you should know there is abundance. That's why I said a time is coming in my house. I would just have one room. People say storeroom. You go there and it's full of broken stuff. Unused. If you say storeroom, I should have a room. A storeroom that when you enter, abundance. If it is crates of mineral. If it's bags of rice. If it's boxes of chocolates. You enter, you think you've entered a store. Luxury. My storeroom should be befitting the house I built. When you enter a wonderful house and everything, go and buy it onion. Go and buy onion. No. Everything should be available. It should be in stock, not out of stock. Some things have to be in my house. A pool shop. Because I have people like you. who will visit me. A pool, sure. There should be a pool in my house. And this is not about the big things. It's not about big things. Because I'm not thinking of, I'm thinking of, I live beyond myself. People will visit me. Pool surely should be in my house. Cinema room, sure. Cinema room. A big room, not some cubicle. Big room. With the huge screen and the most comfortable chair you can ever think about. Yeah, when I'm having the getaway time, pastors and couples fellowship, then I'll invite my men of God with their beloveds. Come, we relax after all the hard work. We relax. Cinema room. We get a nice movie. We walk. Popcorn is pop. We finish. You want to swim? You go in. Small time. Relax. No ministries pastors will enjoy like this ministry. Because we will labor, and our labor will be equivalent to our. They can sit and say what they want about us, but we know we are laboring. So when we are enjoying the fruit of it, nobody should. Everybody will want to be a pastor in this world. But it's a calling. We will have time. Peace here, pastors and couples fellowship. We recline, spend time. Then shall we break bread? It's till Mama calls, and we too, Mama won't call us. You finish, want to sleep over? Enough rooms. Enough rooms. This was God's luxury hotel for Adam, for Chairman Adam. He says, and the Lord God himself planted a garden eastward. And even east is associated with wisdom. You know that? East is associated. That's why it says Solomon was wiser than all the men of the east. East is connected to wisdom. He says a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he put the man. He says, and out of the ground God made the Lord God to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. This was in the garden. Because back then that was what luxury represented. Fruits. If it was now, it would be different. Well, I have my definition of luxury. Nibbling on some chocolate, lying down. That is me, my life. So if God did that in that time, now if God was doing it, there will be boxes of chocolate. It depends. It depends on your definition of luxury. It depends on your definition of luxury. So he says, that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. And then he says 10, and the river went out of Eden to water the garden. So there was no lack in that garden. There was supply every time. People who lived in that kind of place don't have the language. Those times, they don't talk like that. It's an ever increasing supply. They don't make such statements in those times because God has taken care of everything to make sure that supply is always flowing. It says, and the river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it parted and became into four. If you check it, you will see further. But my focus here is, and the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden. In Eden. See, and I believe you know what Eden means. You know what Eden means. You know what Eden means. Who knows what Eden means? It means presence. Eden also means atmosphere. Let me show you something. Eden refers to 5 things. I was studying and I saw it. Let me read it to you. It means spot, moment, presence, open door, and delightful. So see what God did. He says when you put the 5 together, it means the spot on earth where the presence of God was an open door to heaven, a delightful place. That's what he placed Adam. And because Adam was a natural man, God had to give him a typology of his presence, which is Eden. God had to give Adam a physical representation of his presence. So luxury is a typology of the presence of God. Don't you feel good in the presence of God? That's what luxury does to the man. You sit in the chair and say, hey, Charlie, there are chairs and there are chairs. So Eden means, I said what? Presence. And the presence of God is supposed to depict luxury, delight, pleasure, rest, enjoyment. That is the presence of God. And God wanted to give Adam a physical representation of that. Right? So really Eden means the presence of God. But I said Adam was a natural man. And he needed natural evidence of the presence of God. So God gave him natural evidence. You see, so God himself took time and then he got a particular place. Listen, God got a particular place. And then he planted everything that could evoke luxury. Which though it could not be similar to his presence, will give you a physical experience of what God's presence really is. Right? So in his presence, what? There is abundance. So he made sure that in the physical presence, that was a typology of him, there should be what? Abundance. There is rest. He gave an environment of rest. There is plenty. There is water, supply. You know, that's why Moses could stay in the presence of God 40 days, 40 nights. He didn't need food. He didn't need water. Why? Because it was Eden. But I said Adam was a physical man. He wasn't a spiritual man. So God had to give him physical representation, something you could relate to. Eden also means atmosphere. But because he was natural, God had to give him what? Natural representation. Then this is what God did. He took man. Then he placed him. People are still asking, where is Eden? You don't really have to go looking for that Eden. Because it was designed for the physical man. And then he says God took Adam and he placed him in his atmosphere. He placed him in his presence. I said God took Adam. So when he said, and the presence of God is the glory of God. So this is what he meant when he says, for all have sinned and have fallen short of the luxury of God. Because the presence he took, he put him in. He took him out. And then he put an angel with a flaming sword. So that is what Adam lost. The atmosphere, the presence, the luxury. And you see what happened after that. It says from the sweat, you what? But that's not the big one. I said he took Adam and he placed Adam in his presence. Because Adam was a physical man, he needed physical representation. Rise up. Thank you, Jesus. You see, so Adam looked to everything around him for his enjoyment, his pleasure, his relationship with God. Again, because that's why God had to come into them. Because Adam was a physical man. He even needed that physical, not physical, but that evidence of the physical when God even comes. Right? So the pleasure Adam lived. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I said God placed Adam where? In his presence. So the man was in it and he was enjoying everything. He says in his presence there is what? Fullness of joy. Because there is no lack. Where there is lack, rather, joy can never be full. But where everything is in abundance, there is always joy. And then this time, say this with me. I live from the inside.
I live from the inside.
He took the first man and he placed him in his presence. But for the second man, he took his presence and he placed it in I said it's on the inside. So Adam looked from the outside, there was no lack. Everything he would ever need in its best was available. Now you, the presence is no more around you. You've not been placed in it. It's been placed in you. How better can it be? No, I'm asking you, how better can it be? If the outside, if man was placed in it and it was that good, how much more is being placed in you? The presence of God is in you. The real Eden is what you have in you. Did you hear? He says God planted a garden. God is the one who put. He worked on the place and he put man in. That's no wonder the Eden in us is also a finished work. No wonder. And this finished work was also done by who? God himself. The first outside Eden, he worked on it, he put money. The second one, he worked and then he put it in. It's always a finished work. And true. Do you know in the garden there was the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil? It's also in you. It's also in you. He says there were what? Fruit trees. That is pleasant rice. That is why nobody can receive the finished work without being the righteousness of God. Because it's always connected to the glory. He says, for none is righteous. Then he says, for all have sinned, and they have fallen short of what? Of glory of God. So there is no way you can now receive the glory without the righteousness. That's why man cannot be born again without being righteous. Why? Because the presence of God. Don't forget, when Adam was in the presence, he was right with God. So the presence cannot be in you, and you are not right with God. When I say right, I'm talking about righteousness. So he worked on the garden. He worked on the garden. God worked on the garden, which is Eden, his presence, where there is no lack. And then when he finished, he placed it in you. And he did it that way because you are not a natural man. If you were, he would have given it to you in the natural. You are a spiritual man. And I told you the way Adam's own was real to him, God only knew yours would be real to you if he gives it to you in its real state, which is the spirit. It's on the inside. Look on the inside. Do you know how you look on the inside? Through the word. If you think you are blessed, you say, I'm blessed. Yes. It is in the garden. Your true blessing, the reality of your blessing is in the... I know Adam will wake up every day, he will look around him. You say, oh, I'm blessed. Yeah, that's how rich men talk. You look around and say, the same way, you also wake up, you don't look around, you look on the inside. Then you say, I'm blessed. Hey! Ours is even more amazing. Adam had to look. There is always a looking. For Adam, he had to look at the physical. There is always a looking. And that is what provoked his statement. For you, you need to look on the inside. And do you know how you see your inside? Listen, do you know how you see inside of you? As you are standing here right now, do you know how you can see inside this physical body? You need instruments, physical instruments. So the only way you can see what is in you is through what? Instruments. And if physical instruments reveal physical things, spiritual instruments will reveal spiritual things. So the only way you can see what is in you, the kidneys, the entrails, the organs, the all, is to look with the spiritual device. Have you seen your inside before? Let me ask you something. Have you seen inside of you? Yes, you know there is a heart in you. You know there are lungs in you. You know there is a kidney. You know what? We haven't seen inside our spirit before. But how do we know? The word. If he says you're a success, really, it's in you. It's an organ in you. If he says you cannot be defeated, it's an organ in you. If he says no weapon fashioned against you prospers, it's a tissue in you. It is there. It is real. If he says you are healed, it is real in you. See, you are trying to locate a spiritual reality with what? A physical device. It cannot happen. It's on the inside. If he says you will do exploits, It is in Eden. It is in Eden. This time Eden is in you. Eden is in you. If he says you will shake the world, it's in Eden. If he says the works of your hands will prosper, it is in Eden. And I said the same way Adam will wake up and look around him. Wow. I'm blessed. Thank God I'm blessed. Is that how you respond? Is that how you react? Is that how you react? But that's how I do. When I look up, I say I'm blessed. Because I'm looking inside of me. Do you know how I see the inside of me? It's in me. Again. So I brood over. I say, hush. That's it is. That's how I see what is in me. I say, hey. That's it is. It says, though he was rich, he became poor. That out of his poverty, I will be rich. Glory to God. It's on the inside. It's in Eden. Oh, hey, hey. This time is not an Eden a snake can enter. Hey. This is not an Eden you can lose. It's not a paradise, a lost paradise. It's not a paradise we can lose. We don't lose this paradise. I thank God He made it spiritual. And then He placed it in me. We don't lose this Eden. No snake can rear up there and ask us funny questions. We know who we are. No snake can ask us, do you want to be like God? I know who I am. I'm born as one. What an Eden. On the inside. Because it's a finished work. What God gave to Adam was not a finished work. It was not a finished work. But He knew after this he wouldn't have to do another Eden. So He had to make sure that the security is what? Tight is not good enough. But tight, people can. You don't know. People, some of you are able to put on tight things. When you get home, you have to lie there and they pull it off. No, this security is not. It is impenetrable. No snake in that Eden. What a life. Because this Eden is not about we receiving the breath of God. It's not about we being created in His image. As it is. So the Eden had to conform to the nature. You can distort pictures. I believe you know you can distort pictures. That's what happened to Adam. God created Adam in His own image. So Adam looked like God. Then you see sometimes you can take a picture, then you give it mustache. If it's a guy, so you do funny things. Then Satan added some features to it. Then you see, you don't look like him. Do you want to be like him? He edited the Photoshop. But this time, we don't look like him. We don't look like him. He is our face, and we are His body. Eden is in you. Wisdom is in you. Creativity is in you. Wealth is in you. Knowledge is in you. Everything you would ever need. And I like God. Now we all carry our own personal Edens. Yeah, because he did it for one man. He was his special abode, his special presence with God. So now you have your own Eden, I have my own Eden. But it's not an Eden that discriminates. There is an Eden in me. Everything I'll ever need is in my Eden. Is in my Eden. Yeah. Glory to God. Glory to God. Glory to God. Glory to God. I do great things. I do great things. You have to allow this Eden to come forth. When I say you have to allow it to come forth, let the evidence of the Eden in you show on the other side. So that men will also be blessed. Let the flow in you overflow on the other side. So that men will be blessed. Because that's the intention of God for placing that in you. To live a life of overflow. The wisdom of God overflows in you. Everybody around you is blessed. Knowledge, everybody around you is blessed. Creative ideas, everyone around you is blessed. Take the Eden in you and let it affect physical things. That's what you have to do. Let the Eden in you come out. It creates multi-million-dollar industries. That's the purpose of the Eden in you. That's the purpose of the Eden in you. No, never say, I don't know what to do. How will we get it? There is no luck in you. I said there is no luck in you. There is no luck in you. Never say, where will we get? Where can I get an idea to this? Never say that. Because that was the intention of God. That He places His Eden in you now. So that you will never function from a disadvantage. If anything, we can give them, as bad as the replica will be, we can give this world a physical replica of the Eden in us, if anything. So if anything, I'll drive the best. Yeah. I'll stay in the best house, in the best conditions. Oh yeah, I will. I will stay in the best conditions. The time is coming. I wouldn't even know anything like sun rays. No. I will condition my air. Every air I get into, I have conditioned it. Yeah. My washroom, air conditioned. Oh yeah. There should be pleasure in whatever you do. My washroom, air conditioned. My even the corridor you walk through, air conditioned. Central air conditioning. Kitchen air conditioning. Everywhere. But is that not what God did? When He created the world, He conditioned the whole. And it was a big room, and He conditioned the whole place with air. And it's not. These things that we shouldn't let the world deceive us to think that you are being materialistic. Materialism is based on your origin of possession, where you proceed from. No, you think all the nice things that God created in the world on earth, you think when He did it, He had cocaine dealers in mind? It was us. When they do it, it's okay. But when the child of God is living luxuriously, you say, instead of using the money to help the poor, it's the poor you will always have it. Do you know what Sama do? Give everything. You will still have poor people in the system. So you don't have to feel guilty at driving a good car. Drive a good car, there will still be poor people, and help them with your good car. Be in your good car and help them. Because not driving a good car would not stop people from. Some are poor today. People are giving birth to poor people. It won't stop when you leave. If even you solve all the poverty problem, when we die, people will still give birth. Poor people will come in. There will be continents that would be poor till the coming of our Lord. I'm telling you. Poverty is a mindset. Go to US, there are people on the streets. Yeah, Ghanaians move from here outside and they get work. It's a mindset. People, it's a mindset. So I said, it's in you. Don't be deceived. Don't be deceived by what people say on the outside. It's in you. If it becomes real to you, nothing can stop it from affecting what is around you. And that was God's intention, that nobody can lose it. That's why He placed it in us, and not placed us in it. What's your name? Say this with me. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
Blessed.
Through the word of God.
Through the word of God.
I know what's in me.
I know what's in me.
In the word of God.
In the word of God.
I know what is real in me.
I know what is real in me.
I'm blessed.
I'm blessed.
I'm blessed.
I'm blessed.
Eden is in me.
Eden is in me.
Eden is in me.
Eden is in me.
All good things are in me.
All good things are in me.
There is a supply in me.
There is a supply in me.
I have no lack.
I have no lack.
I live from my Eden.
I live from my Eden.
It's in the inside.
It's in the inside.
It affects everything around me.
It affects everything around me.
It affects my thoughts.
It affects my thoughts.
My decisions.
My decisions.
And my actions.
And my actions.
It is real.
It is real. It is real.
It is real. I'm telling you. Live from there. It is real. Glory to God.
Hallelujah.
When it becomes real in you, people will even start relating to you that way. They will start relating to you that way. I'm blessed. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.